All right, we are good to go. YouTube Live, that's what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and share that with a bunch of people. Give me 1 second, guys, while we get this ready. Ah, okay. Let's get back to the Zoom. All right, good stuff. I think we're live here now. I think you guys got me on Zoom. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we're good to go. All right, we're gonna get started in just a second here, guys. Bear with me one moment. One quick moment. Trying to make sure that we can get this out to as many people as possible. So give me one quick second. All right, cool. Well, let's give it a shot. All righty. So we're live there on Zoom. I got it. That's beautiful. All right, so check this out. We're gonna go over the recap of what has happened the last 3 days with this AI for business. Phenomenal, phenomenal. What's going on in that world? Got notes here from the 13th of November from also with AI for business. Might check out some of that as well. Um, let's go ahead and get right to it. Hope everybody's having a great day today. Uh, make sure. I'm not sure this is actually recording, guys. It says that we're live though. Not sure though. Just want to make sure. I'll keep checking in on that in a minute. No, we can always just start over. So let's go over some of the bullet points. Just good stuff you might want to know. Got stuff from day two here. And then got stuff from day three here as well, of course. All right, good stuff. Let's dig right in and go in the order that all this information was shared. First thing that was shared right off the top was an app called Granola, kind of like the bar, but Granola. And this is a great one for note taking. It's an AI notepad. All right. Um, good stuff to have just in general moving forward. Having a note taker that's there in the backdrop taking notes. So you have all that information at a later date to just share wherever you need to share that. So, wisdom, perplexity. Perplexity is the AI you want to go to for research. For research. Any kind of deep research that you're trying to do, perplexity is the AI you want to go through. And then Grok, grok.com. Now, is another one you want to just be aware of. Now, when it comes to content, let's talk about Claude, Claude.ai for coding and for creative content. Claude is your friend. Claude.ai. For example, you might want to write a reactivation email sequence, let's say for a realty company or any company, for their buyer leads. Company name, you could call it Remus, let's say it's Remus Realty. The owner's Remus Muhammad. Um, so say somebody might say, are you still, an email might want to go out, still thinking about that perfect home. So you want to reactivate some people that you've already been in communication with. Um, and then another email that you might want to create that says, what most buyers don't know right now. And Claude.ai is awesome for landing pages. Really good stuff. The creative content that you want to create, to go ahead and create whatever it is that you're trying to create. Just keep that in mind. And for images and ads, what you want to know is Google Gemini's Nano Banana Pro. Version 2 is out right now. Next level stuff. There's some really creative, fun stuff in there that you can do. Getting acquainted with Google's Gemini's Nano Banana Pro. Get to create ads. You can say something like, make me 5 ad ideas for new AI adapters. Okay. Those that are slow to adapt to AI at this point, you could just have it create an ad that for um, 5 ad ideas for new AI adapters. Just a great way to attract them to want to learn more about this AI world. All right. Just learning how to use, what to use is a big part of this whole world of awesome intelligence that I'm creating here. Just knowing what you can use out here for different things and then how to communicate with the AI. It's another big piece. Um, so another great thing that can be done with the Google Gemini's Nano Banana. Let's say I want to take a picture of a book cover, and but then I want to change it up a little bit. Great tool, Nano Bananas Gemini, Google Gem. I'm glad I'm going over this again because it's taking it back to my refreshing my mind. Let me have some definite ideas about what I want to do with that in the days to come. Not here right now, but I just want to go over this recap with you guys and also for myself. Um, for example, also, you can create an amazing infographic with this particular text, for example. The top 3 tips for copy that sells. All right. So just have it create an amazing infographic around that. Um, so you can have, for example, like an awesome intelligence addict mugshot creation and just create a clever ad around almost like, just a regular mugshot, but it's awesome intelligence. You guys should have seen the visuals of what they did, but just like AI addict, awesome intelligence addict mugshot. And just that alone sends out an amazing message. High converting funnel steps, um, like a whiteboard of just that on it. These can be created just from going to Google. Just give me some ideas. For example, my dad works with Boeing, works for Boeing, retired, and McDonnell Douglas, some other companies. So I could have a Boeing themed image generation with my dad's picture and Just a lot of creativity that can be done along those lines. Um, just using that as an example. So the idea is just come up with an idea, and there's a chat GPT voice. Now you can just speak the ideas with your voice. Um, Definitely want to know about that. For example, you can have an interview, create an interview, have a marketing coach and like an accountability buddy. And you could tell it, this gentleman named Dan Kennedy. You can have it done in his style since he's a marketing coach kind of guy, Google. And you can have like direct response wisdom. And so you can have those two having a conversation. Just create that where these two are having this conversation and just see how that goes because basically you're going to have the mindset of anybody that you respect. In this case, you talked about Dan Kennedy, but it can be anybody you respect um, having a conversation. Um, so yeah, and what's so great about the Chat GPT is you can teach it about yourself, your family, your life, and it'll remember um, your daughter's birthday, your mom's birthday, your important things to your wife, to your husband, to your children, to your boss, um, just to anybody that you would want to have it know a lot about. And then when you reference that anything you want to do in regards with creating anything for that person, it already has an understanding, or you can just have a conversation because you've trained up the Chat GPT to already understand everything there is that you want them to know, what Chat GPT to know about that particular person. Or yeah, so that's a phenomenal thing. Um, Validifier, another key piece to look into. Validifier. We're talking about all-in-one solution for your business. Um, Pretty amazing. Validifier. You can get a whole like SWOT analysis, what they call a PESTEL analysis. PESTEL stands for political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal. Um, all that analysis can be done on um, on whatever business idea that you may have or that already exists. There's a Porter's five forces analysis. Pretty cool to learn about all these things. The threat of new entry, um, cat woe analysis, customers, actors, transformations, and it stands for some other stuff. But all this uh, comes as a part of this validifier, phenomenal tool to be able to know about. Say you have a game changing, is it a game changing idea or not? Um, Maybe coaching, mental wellness, fitness tracking, community forum, valuable insights um, in regards with a particular field you may be in. Understanding what will be a game changing idea about any business that exists or one that you want to create. Pretty phenomenal. Now, um, okay, let me try to translate some of these notes for you. Let's see here. So we can get into, it'll do a lot of analysis, is basically what that's talking about. Spark Toro. If you want to get an idea of who your audience is, Spark Toro, Toro, just to get an idea of who your audience is marketing to. Um, that'll provide a lot of, or maybe your competition, who the audience is that they're marketing to. Getting into KPIs, also known as key performance indicators, different go to market strategies. You have an idea you want to go to market with, phenomenal stuff that'll give you a lot of research understanding. Yeah, phenomenal, good stuff to dig in there, see what is going on with all of that. Yeah, these are tools that like AMA.org, WebFX.com, N8N.io utilizes to get much more understanding about what's going on. The other thing you want to know about is called Answer Socrates. Um, Ask that any questions. Just want to go get familiar with Answer Socrates. Also, Glimpse, Glimps. This is really what's trending, knowing what's trending before it actually trends. That's a big thing. Um, Glimpse is one you want to have close by you, kind of like a SEO content type of thing, but seeing what's trending out there before it's actually trending. Good stuff. Buzz Sumo was mentioned. Yeah. Kind of seeing what your competitors are doing. That's pretty cool. What the buzz is, sumo, obviously that's a very competitive thing, sumo wrestling. So getting a look at your competitors. And that's built with Tech Stack and I guess Matterport for what it's worth. Um, Adplexity. Again, getting different competitors' ads. The landing page, which is the money page. And the idea is you just want on the landing page, all they have to do is just make one choice. They don't want a whole bunch of choices. So as you're creating a landing page, the idea is there's just one choice. Click right here, put your name, put your email. Not a whole bunch going on. Keeping it real simple, different than a website. All right. Mm, There you go. Landerlab.io. Another one. So you might want to get good at asking this question. How can I make my image better than this particular image to 1,000 times better? How can I make it way better and just let it give you that information? SEMrush. It's a SEO, search engine optimization, and it's a Google pay-per-click. And in order to get some marketing data, pretty deep analysis going on with that. They were talking about Airbnb, and to learn where there's a lot of bike rentals, who are doing a lot of bike rentals. Chances are, if they're doing bike rentals, they may very well be in the market to want to talk about Airbnbs as well. It's kind of like this idea of cross-referencing different things that go along with if you're looking to promote your Airbnb business. If you knew everybody that was renting in that area, renting bikes, electric bikes, and all that stuff, well, chances are they're probably in the market as well. It's good likelihood, a good percentage that'll be also in the market for Airbnbs, which is, say, the business that you want to do. So this kind of research, getting some good marketing data like that. Again, keywords, home2go.com, evolve.com, getyourguide.com, all of your competitors' keywords. Spend a lot of time on that, or a good portion of time on that. Different organic words that they're using. Yes, yes, yes. So the idea is you can have upload a competitor's ads, and then you can on through these sites here, you can find their competitors' ads, and you can say, tell me what they are doing right and make my ad 1,000 times better. And you can also type in there, tell me what they're doing wrong, so I can stay away from that stuff and create an ad for me similar to my competitors, but extract all the good that's going right with that ad and negate all the negative that's not going right with that ad, and then make my ad 1,000 times better. Pretty phenomenal stuff. Um, let's see. Compite, Kompyte, which is made by SEMrush. It automatically tracks your competitors' updates on what's going on in all the different places, whatever they're doing. That way you can be aware right away what's going on with the competition out there. Google Alerts, google.com/alerts. Just type in the competitor's name um, and your own company. Pretty cool thing they came up with also. There's a lot of free advertising that you can get on Google if you have a nonprofit for grants. Just google.com/grants. And all you got to do is just establish and show that you have a nonprofit, and then you can go ahead and get a lot of free advertising in Google because you have a nonprofit. That's just something that is a part of Google's rules. That's a cool thing to know. Um, Building your brand. Talked about headshots. Started getting into this part here. So you can add somebody's face in a comic. Again, back to Gemini. Um, you can tell Gemini, I want a cinematic portrait prompt generator. Okay. And then you go to namelix, namelix.com. It's a business name generator. Um, Pretty cool. You're just struggling. You don't know exactly what you want to call a brand new idea, new name for your business. That'll give you some good ideas. And then we talked about getting your brand online, creating an app and a website. Um, yeah. So I think we start getting into Amazon right up in here, I believe. So I remember. Let me see. Hold on. We put down ship beautiful AI products in 90 minutes. Um, yeah, that was something that was mentioned there. Um, Check this out. I think it's called Push, maybe called Push. I'm not sure if it's called Push or not, but his idea of creating a funny song for any company, for your company. Um, Create a rap song for event management or for Never Settle, hats and company design apparel. Could be for rhinestone design. There's some brainstorming they talking about. For a company called Awesome Autism is what I thought about, or for a company called Awesome Intelligence. Just whatever. But you just create just tell it, create a funny song for whatever business you're talking about. Create a rap song, create a country music song. Things you can do again, just through Gemini, and then generating a newsletter. Powerful, just to be able to create a newsletter. Got a tool in AI for Business Pro that if you're a part of that, then you can just create a newsletter. Phenomenal what AI for Business has all pulled together under that one umbrella. Phenomenal. You owe it to yourself next time they do another 3-day seminar. Or if you just want to go ahead and jump in, that's a great thing too. Because again, once you jump in, immediately you got access to all what they have available inside there. Lovable as Pose Perfect API with Gemini, which makes it easier for you. Anytime you hear an API, pretty much the rules and protocols that have already been created a certain way. Revin is a whole thing that's been created. Call that an API. Um, Application programming interface. It's a bunch of rules and protocols that's already been created. It's a package. And the API with Gemini, Lovable has an API with Gemini, and which makes it way easier for you. This is the time we're living in. This is the benefit that we all benefit from right now is all these things that have been created that have never been created before. Systems that are created with other systems so the end user can just come along and just tell it what you want it to do and it'll do it. That's pretty phenomenal stuff. So that's exciting. Can call it the transformer living space with just a picture and it'll do it. You can have it build apps and websites. Um, yes, N8N in Lovable. I think it's a garlic butter, does the automation, some notes. He created something that watches the dashboards of the crypto. Um, and another one he created an app. He talked about just all the apps he just created, just like that, just in a few minutes. Trips, taking trips and getting paid to travel. Weight loss for executive women over 50. These are just apps that he just created. He was just running off some of the ones he's already done. Just go make it. There's no thing to it. Just knowing where to go to get it. Just go say it and it gets done. Having an AI health coach. Feel like you can do more with AI than you ever thought you could. Crucial. The time we're living in. Growth in marketing. Understanding your audience. Very important. The Gary Halpert letter, who's a direct marketing researcher. And so, whatever experts exist in any field, just know you can use them as a reference point because AI knows all about all these different experts. It knows all the books. It knows you name it. It knows it's out there. If somebody's known and that really did what they did, or they, their ideas known about what they're about, and they're a major person in whatever field, like say marketing research, you can just use them as a point of reference in the AI. Just mention it, and then now it's thinking with all of that data. You're guiding it to think a certain way. John Gordon, the energy bus, how to get more energy. You know nothing about your customer. I was talking a little bit about all these stuff. Empathy, the key to persuasion. It was just like you. I'm sorry, I was just like you. He's talking a lot about how you got to know people do business with who they know, who they like, and who they trust. And so when you're dealing with AI, it's very similar kind of thing. It's got to get to know you. You got to teach it and all the best of whatever you are, so it can represent you when it's thinking. Into the conversation already happening in your prospect's mind. Thinking in terms of what the person you're trying to help, what are they thinking? What kind of things can you solve in their world for them? The idea that I was just like you. Then we got into Amazon review. Very big piece here. Reviews that are already out there. Um, Getting what real reviews are actually saying, and taking those reviews and utilizing them. Um, for example, I can charge anybody $200 and they have their own app and their own website. Okay. Um, how cool is that? The ability to help people get their own app, their own website right now. So you can get reviews on this review piece, getting what real people are really saying, real reviews, what they're actually saying. Scraper API is a big piece in Claude. And so they tell me that there's like 30 billion data points that exist out in the whole AI space, right? So you're looking for just a sip of water, is what you're trying to get. You want to direct it to this particular audience that deals with this, and you want to focus in on just dealing with a certain people. Because if you don't do that, and Claude is a very big thing when it comes to this reviews, getting the reviews from say Amazon about a book, for example, on a certain topic, and having Claude analyze that is a big thing. Um, just throwing out some good stuff to keep in mind. Um, Now, step two would be a comprehensive, detailed audience profile. You go on to Amazon, you see a book that may be in the same zone that you're in or that you want to be in, and you can get some reviews on that book. Okay, so that's step one. And having API, scrape it. Go there and put that information in there so it can just deal with the reviews. Okay, because this is ultimately training. You're training up the AI to think the way you want it to think. You want to find all the good, put that into whatever you're getting ready to do, and make sure you weed out all the bad by just looking at real life reviews. If you want to make it very conversational, you want to make it sound very normal based off of what real people are really saying, not just whatever AI is just conjuring up. This is again the idea of why you just want to make it focused on what you wanted to think about. And you want the best of these reviews because you're going to pattern your business off of the best. So the step two, after you've found the reviews, some reviews on Reddit, different forums, and YouTube, different comments, what people are actually saying about whatever particular thing it is. Then you want to go have a comprehensive, detailed audience profile. This will give us the exact language that our audience is using in our marketplace. What are the positive patterns? So we have a positive pattern prompt. Please give me a quick output directly in the chat about what are the positive responses that people are saying in this different reviews. Okay. And you just want to put in there a bunch of different positive responses that people are saying. So then you have the verbiage of what people are saying. Positive, patterns, looking at the positive patterns prompt, okay? And then you want to get the same thing, you want to put into the chat the negative patterns prompt, understanding the different objections that people have. You want it to have that data to think with, what real people have said. So you copy and paste these reviews in Opus 4.5, okay? In Opus 4.5. So you're training the AI thread is what's going to happen. So you can go to Whisperflow um, for audio dictation. So here we go. 10 topics from the understanding of what this audience is looking for. Act as a world-class keynote speaker. You're giving these instructions to your AI. Give me the most compelling presentation for this audience because you've already trained it up, the AI thread, based on the positive responses, negative responses that exist. Now you're saying 10 topics from now Whisper Flow, you can just do audio dictation. You can just say these words to it. 10 topics from the understanding of what this audience is looking for and act as a world-class keynote speaker, AI, and give me the most compelling presentations for this audience. In fact, give me 10 slides on top of that in ready format, the headline and 3 bullet points around the demographics of this audience. And this is conversational prompting. So go to my website, create 5 closing slides, and tie it into my presentation with my offer. Give me all 15 slides at once. And then even gamma.app was talked about as well. So all of that right there will allow you to just really get straight to the point. This is all just audio prompting, by the way. And now you just is going to create something that's very much a model now that you'll have of the audience that you want to talk to and how you want to deal with them as you develop your whole presentation. So that was day one. And then we got into day two. Oh my goodness. Solidifier, which is built on Lovable, as is something that has been created by Brian here, who's part of Revin and AI for Pro. I'm sorry, AI for Business. And so, yeah. So GenSpark AI workspace, better than Manus, and how to build agents. Okay. Uh, so scribehow.com is another good one because you can actually, when you go to scribehow.com in a nutshell, it will let you train up anybody on whatever you're trying to do. Even certain websites where you want people to click, you click on this first, click on that next, on different apps online, how to get things done. ScribeHow will actually basically record you doing it, and then it knows it'll create a whole list for you of what you did and how you got to that. And then you can just send that to anybody, and now they know exactly how to get done what you're trying to teach them to get done. They can just literally it will watch you do it. So now you don't have to train everybody up. You can just send them that, and they'll tell them click here, then click here, click here, click here, click here, and it shows a picture of where to actually click because it's phenomenal how it does all that for you. Phenomenal. Scribehow.com. And then we got into Domar. Boy, 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 Domar. Phenomenal. Him and his wife, Keisha, digital babes. Um, Phenomenal. Open art, upscale image, Lupa upscaler, then create the voice, like 11 labs. So first at openart.ai, you're going to create a character. You're going to click the image, and then you're just going to go through that process and getting a character from just an image. Then you want to upscale that image with Lupa Upscaler. Then you want to create a voice. This is where 11 Labs comes in. Then you want to go to HeyGen. And this is where now you'll be able to fuse voice of yourself or whoever you want to, and now mix it right in there and create a video by just starting with a very nice picture. The upscaling of the image is where it becomes a nice picture. Um, Yeah. So let's see here. Um, so much that can be created. Creating ads. Talk a little bit about that with these nice images, these nice videos, and you can make some amazing ads now once you have created these avatars, these from a picture, just creating these videos that sound like you, it could sound like whoever you want to sound like. Pretty phenomenal. And you could help a company by just having a free workshop, putting it together for them. And then if you want to upgrade for that particular company's service, maybe $50, $100, whatever they want to do, but they can draw a lot of attention by just creating these really high quality videos. And yeah, with these ads, phenomenal. Um, on a landing page, you want to get their attention. You got to find their interest, what their desire is, and then some action. Just talked about that, the bullet points of that when you're creating these landing pages for people. Closebot, live chat feature powered by AI. It's something that's proprietary to Revin or to get this. Somebody's trying to call me. Yeah, and so they talked a little bit about the live chat feature. Phenomenal, qualified prospects do that. Can actually customize all of that because there's this golden window. When people go to a website and they say they want to learn more, and they click on something and they put their information in, the idea is you want to get back to them within 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes. I mean, you know how it is. You're looking for some information and you put it out, and then 10 minutes, 30 minutes, hour goes by, days go by, and nobody responds to you. You know that's not a good look. So the idea is with the close bot is creating these responses, qualifying prospects, seeing if they're really ready for your service or not or product. And then if they are, of course, you know, showing them exactly how they can get that done. But the idea is you have that 5 minute window. So whatever your objective is, want to get their contact information or you want to actually, so it's a whole thing around the close bot, which is basically AI for Business's proprietary chatbot that they've created. Phenomenal that any of us can utilize to create our own or for somebody else or whatever. If you want to do it as a business, whatever. Pretty phenomenal stuff. Because its bottom line is it's the ability now for the business to deal right away. Customer service, customer relation management is what you're talking about, CRM. Being able to respond right away to those that come to the websites. Um, yeah, let's see here. For example, you could have a boat, definitely something a business would want to have is an ad designed to send me a message that then talks to a bot that I create as they respond to my ad. So somebody responds to my ad, but then now they're responding and now they're talking to a bot that I've created. You get to create, whoever can do this. Now they're responding to a bot that's actually responding to the person that responded to the ad for that business. Um, so, um, yes, okay, talked about that. So, swipefile.com. So, this is really figuring out what other people are doing that works. Can upload images into AI, have AI scrape the text of it. Well, there's a text that goes with every image. If it's a picture, there's a text behind the scenes that we don't see. So swipefile.com will give you that text that ultimately the digital behind the scenes of a picture, it's all digital. It's is how it makes that picture look like that picture, getting that digital picture. And so swipe.com will let you upload images into the AI and have the AI scrape the text of it. And then you have all of that. So now you can take that and do some other stuff with it, which is phenomenal. So swipes.co, is reverse engineering. Good stuff to play around with. And then there's really good emails.com. You can find out what these guys are doing. That's phenomenal just to take a look at really good emails.com. And then there's Particle News, Particle News. Um, yeah. So in there, you get to repurpose your content on social media. You can have a pre-newsletter post and then a post-newsletter post. Okay. And you can have guiding them to say, you can guide them by saying, join the newsletter to talk about it. That's the whole point of maybe a particular ad on social media. You just want them to join your newsletter. And then you have their name and you got their email, and now we can communicate. Um, oh, LinkedIn. LinkedIn has newsletters and they're free. That's phenomenal. Once you create your newsletter, which you can do in just a few minutes, whatever your business is, doesn't matter. Once you're in AI for Business Pro, then you just create your newsletter. And once you have that, you get that newsletter. And the newsletter, a lot of it is about getting, of course, leads and communicating with a certain audience, your particular audience. So they now know that you can communicate with them, every couple of weeks, every month, whatever it wants to be, whatever you want it to be. And then you get that newsletter out. And that's where LinkedIn comes in. They have a newsletter. All of your current and new followers are um, invited to that newsletter through LinkedIn. Phenomenal. Um, so so you can kind of like there's an idea that when you have a newsletter, you can share it because it's all about information, making sure people stay plugged in and whatever way you want to plug them in. And it could be current news, it could be stuff that they just need to know, it could be a lot of layers to whatever your business or your idea is, or just you just want to keep that conversation going. And so you can actually share the newsletter, or then you can just share a little bit of it and then say, hey, if you want to get the rest of it, just put your name and email here, and then you can have it sent out the rest. So you can, again, getting their email, their phone number, so you can stay in touch and communicate with them because they've already shown some degree of interest. You can even create a referral program. Somebody, if they refer your newsletter to somebody else, then you can create some kind of program. Beehive is good at this. Morning Brew is a great one to study. They reward people for um, referring their particular newsletter to some other people. That's the one particular business, Morning Brew, that does that. Because again, it's all about getting leads. It's all about getting contacts so you have some people to talk to about your business. So, ad swaps. Talking about letter growth. What kind of newsletters exist for newsletter swaps? Very important. You can swap information between different newsletters. That's pretty phenomenal. Let's see, I like this video. Okay, hold on one second. We still looks like we're still good. Okay, so um the idea of being helpful to your followers. The deep view is something to look into. The deep view when you're in ad swaps. And the idea of cross promotions of newsletters. Maybe it's a newsletter out there that's similar to yours, or maybe it's in a similar field like AI. Maybe it's about gardening, if gardening is what you like to do. And so, um, but you want to have see the good thing about cross promo, they promote your newsletter to their group because it's your fellow person in the gardening arena or love automobiles, love Chevys, newsletter or AI, new AI or whatever, a particular niche. And why you want to share and cross that with other people that are in that same kind of market or same kind of customers that follow that particular market. Because now you've got a whole nother list of emails now because they're promoting your newsletter and you're promoting their newsletter amongst your people. So that way everybody's getting more emails from more people to share. So a good way to build a network, good way to build affiliates, good way to scale really fast, and it's easy. Passion fruit, passion FROOT is a good one to find creators to brand deals. Phenomenal. Again, just some of this is some apps, websites to go to learn more about them. But if you never hear about them, you wouldn't even know there is a reason to know about them. Meta ads, people that know about that probably Facebook. Um, Scale infinitely, offer your particular free newsletter. Best avenue to get newsletter subscriptions at volume, these ads. Putting your ad out there to get people to have exposure to your email. I'm sorry, to your newsletter. Like getting the emails and having them subscribe. Phenomenal meta ads. They have free meta ads all the way up to like $4. The cost per subscriber. Sparkloop is if you want to get your newsletters to recommend you. Someone signs up for Morning Brew, let's just say, and it suggests other newsletters. If you're a Sparkloop and you're on there, then that's phenomenal. Um, they will interview you. One thing about Sparkloop, say I want to have my newsletter on there. They're going to call me, interview me once I sign up, and they're going to ask the question, what constitutes a lead, in my opinion? And I get to answer them and say, well, if they open 3 out of my 4 emails that I sent out, that I sent them, then I consider that a lead. I'm willing to pay you $2, let's say, if you monitor and see if somebody has actually clicked on, yeah, my newsletter, Spark Loop, and then you have it out there floating amongst a lot of different people with a lot of, and you monitor that. Okay, if a person goes to check out one of my emails, I got 4 emails I'm sending to Spark Loop about what I do. Just what I want them to blast it out to everybody. If somebody clicks on 3 out of the 4 of those emails, then I'm willing to pay Sparkloop $2 for who that person is, because I would have never found them. If they've clicked on 3 or 4, and now if they only clicked on 2 of my emails, the Sparkloop's not going to charge me anything. But what's cool about them is I get to see everybody that clicked on it, but not going to charge me though, unless, so it might be 1,000 people that have clicked on one of my emails, 2 of my emails, but not 3, let's just say. I'll still know who those people are, but I'll only be charged by those that they'll only charge me $2 per person if the person has actually clicked on 3 of my emails and opened them up. That just ensures a little bit better that this person is really interested. If they just clicked on one time and saw something, I don't know if they're interested or not, so I'm not going to pay that person for that lead. It's pretty much that arena. And Beehive is similar, but it's only 70 cents per lead. Sparkloop has all the newsletter. Check. Beehive verifies the subscribers. So, for example, Brian, who was giving his training, said he got 2,548 leads by putting out his information. I think it was with Beehive. Yep. And gave him all his information about his newsletter, what his company is, what he's all about. And he was just trying to get some leads, but qualified is the whole point. And he says that, they're trying to have an accident over there. He said that they only paid for 570 of these leads. So he has 2,548 different leads, but he paid 70 cents times 570 different people that these ones clicked on 3 of his emails that he put together and sent out. And so he's willing to pay 70 cents. Now, let's think about that. If one of those leads, whatever his product is that he's selling, could be $1,000 product, $2,000 product, whatever it is. And the idea is that look, like them being screened to look at these emails. The idea is that now he knows much better that they're interested. They're not just some random people. That these are some people that took the time to actually go through the first email. Another email came across. They looked at that one as well. Another email came across. They looked at that. They might have looked at the 4th one as well, but at least 3 times. Now, some people, there was 2,548 people that looked at his lead one kind of way. I mean, looked at maybe just one email at least. But it was only 570 of those that actually clicked on at least 3 of these emails that Brian sent out. So Brian says, I'm willing to pay you, Beehive, 70 cents for each of those 570. But I still get the list, is what Brian was saying. You still get the list of all 2,548. So there might have been some people that were really interested, but they were busy. They had a lot going on. They clicked on it one time. They didn't click on the rest of them. But the point is now he has all their leads, and he can now send a very directed, could send them his landing page, could send these people some information because now they've already shown interest. For 2,548 people, but he only had to pay 70 cents for 570. Beehive will provide that service for you. Um, Sponsor My Tribe is another place that you can go to once you have your newsletter. Get out there, and then they will get your newsletter out to people. Hecto, HECTO, will help you connect with the right people. Can monetize your leads. Refer other net newsletters. Um, yeah. So we went more into Beehive and Spark Loop, and even selling sponsorships. Check that out. Um, yeah. Some people will actually pay to be a sponsor as a part of your newsletter when it goes out. They'll pay you. They'll pay me for my newsletter. They'll pay me to ride my newsletter because they know when they put their company as a part of my newsletter, I'm advertising for them. Because I have a newsletter, I'm valuable in their eyes. And they can see, okay, my newsletter is getting out because I got it in Beehive. I got it in all these places. And my newsletter is touching a lot of people. So now somebody says, hey, Reem, I'll pay you X amount of dollars uh, for because I know you got a newsletter and you're touching people. Pretty phenomenal. Almost like being an influencer. You can even sell a monthly, like a premium membership to your newsletter. You can have like a free element if you want to, but then your newsletter, if they want to be a part of it, they have to subscribe. It could be $5, or it could be so much per month, $50 a month, whatever it might be for your newsletter. But they get all this information that you're providing, or you can keep it free, like I said. But you have a premium membership that you could offer as well, and maybe they get all 12 months at one time. So they got that you're going to get to them every 12 once every month. Let's say if you put it out every month, but they do the annual membership off a part of your newsletter subscription, and maybe you give them a discount. Maybe it's a little bit cheaper. Instead of paying $97 every month, maybe now they get like 2 months free if they pay for the whole year up front at one time. Pretty phenomenal. So that high ticket coaching, a lot of people, they have coaching they do. It's a high ticket item, maybe 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, $50,000 for their particular coaching. Phenomenal, good stuff. This is where the idea of leads. If that's the kind of product that you're pushing or that you have, you don't need a whole lot. I mean, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 leads that are hot, warm leads that you have now that you've already, filtered through in this beautiful way, and you get them, man, now you're loving that because now every time you sell something, it's $50,000, $20,000. It's a high ticket item. Phenomenal. Keep in mind. So going back to Spark Loop real quick, you can put that on the back end of your newsletters. We talked about that a little bit. That's actually what I was saying. You can get paid per subscriber. They actually will pay you $3.20 for a lead. Like I remember earlier, I was talking about how you were paying for these leads, but now you can get up to $3.20 per lead. They'll pay you. Somebody else says, okay, cool. Because of your newsletter, it generated somebody else. You got a part of that loop cross promoting. And then, your newsletter got other people to connect with some other newsletters. And people got connected that way. They learned about some new people that came through my newsletter. That's what initially they monitor that Spark Loop, and then that person turned into somebody I had a part of my newsletter group. They learned about and some other company because they're involved with Spark Loop, and then that person said, "Okay, great." Somebody at Remus knew in his newsletter got involved over there and ended up signing up for their service for $500, $100, whatever it might be, and that company was willing to pay Sparkloop, whatever amount of dollars. Sparkloop was willing to pay me $3.20 for that lead. Am I mad about that? Absolutely not. Hey, if you find somebody I know in my group can get something good out of somewhere else and they end up getting that service, and then Sparkloop says, here you go, Remus. You had 100 people that went over there and signed up for this or that out of 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 people. That's a part of your newsletter. Hey, 100 of them times $3.20. They wanted that service too, which they were going to probably get in life anyway if they would have found out about it. So, hey, how cool is that? Um, yeah. So open rates is another one. Find and convert They are sponsoring newsletters. So they sponsor. Open Rates will actually uh, sponsor newsletters. Worth looking into to dig into how that works. Who sponsors stuff? That's another one. You can search the sponsors and the industries that they sponsor in. Sponsor my event. Can have an event coming up. Um, Another one is Paved, Paved, where brands connect with newsletters. Massive companies cannot get enough eyes these days. So, for example, CNN or major advertising outlets, their people's attention is all over the place. Netflix, and they're not tuning in to massive media outlets anymore. So this is why they'll pay a person that has a newsletter. So now I'm in the business of creating newsletters, apps, websites, and newsletters for whoever you are. I can make that happen for you. I can get your app, get your website, and have a newsletter for you and your business, and give me a few $100. I'll make it happen. All of that, and you'll be much better in the game, getting the word out. Have a newsletter that you can then get out. If you want me to help get that out there, I can make that happen for you too. So this is the ability that I have for somebody that doesn't want to take the time to learn what I'm learning. Yeah. So Duce, Duuce, where you get to buy and sell newsletters. It gives you an idea of what your newsletter is worth or can be worth. Wouldn't you want to have a newsletter if you knew your newsletter was worth? People are willing to buy a whole newsletter. Once your newsletter gets created properly and it gets a lot of traction and it's moving and it's something that people want, and you create that, almost in my mind, like creating a newspaper. And people want to come buy it. And now if you want to sell it, or you don't have to sell it, but they're willing to buy newsletters. So how cool is that to be able to create a newsletter for any and every business that exists? Now, Francis took over at this point, and he was talking about being a great copy writer. Okay. I had to really get my mind wrapped around this usage of copy writing, writing copy. That's a thing. And so you want to nail the messaging is Francis's whole thing. How you do the messaging matters. And we know that. Communication, words matter. How you do things matter. So Francis is a master at this in studying salesmanship multiplied. When you talk about AI copy writing, writing copy, writing your own proprietary stuff, creating something which becomes yours immediately, but how you do it. The words that are in your content matter. The most important skill is AI copywriting. Most important skill, it's salesmanship multiplied. It's communicate and influence. That's what we're talking about now. Whether it be sales letters, sales videos, whatever you're trying to get done, newsletters. So this is a skill you want to have moving forward in life. Persuasion, influence, copywriting, um, persuasive writing. This is big. So it's like a 30-minute little training he came through. Of course, it won't take me 30 minutes to go through the bullet points here, but so we just started with finding an audience using Claude chat. Okay. So we went to Amazon and you're telling Claude chat, okay, I want you to take on the role of a researcher, best researcher on the planet, let's just say. So we're going to focus on the audience language pattern. We're going to teach Claude. We're going to find the likes and the dislikes of the audience. That's where Amazon reviews comes in. Just a second. And then we will have created a voice guide. We're going to create that, our particular voice. And that's going to be a whole thing that you're going to create now about you, that you're going to have, that you're going to create this. Phenomenal. So now we can go train the AI. And that's crucial. I've been talking about that from day one with the audience, with Awesome Intelligence. Training people to train their AI is really what this is about. So I want to create something that understands my audience. Okay, it's where you're going to be talking to Claude. So a comprehensive audience profile. The questions to ask the client if I were writing something that was going to represent my client's business. Okay, this is what is very important to understand. Comprehensive audience profile. And so these prompts, you're going to train your AI with things like this. You're going to tell your AI, act as an expert direct marketer. Create a checklist of questions that you would need to create in a full interview dealing with a client, a prospective client that you're going to try to help, that I'm going to try to help. Okay. So I'm training my AI to do this. And then please give me a quick output, inside the chat, inside the chat, in the AI conversation chat. He says inside Google Docs, tools, then hit inside Google Docs, then hit tools and hit voice typing. Has the ability to transcribe words by talking. Inside Google Docs is free. You get to record your own sales presentation. And then it's going to transcribe it for AI to analyze. And then that's how it's going to get to know you and your business and how you're talking about your business and how you want it. That is where AI is going to be able to transcribe it and analyze everything about what you're creating your business to be. Did you know nonprofits hire expert copywriters? Copywriters, people that write the copy. That's how they refer to it. Copywriters. They're proprietary, they're individual thing. So I'm now a direct response marketing copywriter. All right. And so the idea is you're training up this AI that Francis was saying he uses a $200 version of Claude that you can pay $200 a month for Claude if you want to. He uses that and he was giving us some of the prompts from it. So he says, I want copy to sound like me. This is how you're going to train your AI. And once you have this copy that sounds like you and your business, it could be as massive as you want that to be, or it could just be a little bit of data. It's crucial. So a style guide based on, let's say, Remus Muhammad, my tonality, my style, and create a style guide. I'm training my AI with these words. I want it to be high energy and grounded. It's going to already have analyzed the way I present it. It's gonna know my style and whether I'm high energy and grounded, whether I like transitional phrases. It's going to copy this and go and I can copy that and go to any AI prompts, Perplexity, Claude, you name it, ChatGPT. I have that now. Okay, I can just copy it, put it someplace, in my phone, whatever. Um, Claude, Gemini, and Revin, even, which is what AI4Business created. AI, ChatGPT. Now that's your copy. It's my copy. It doesn't sound like AI. It's going to sound like Remus. It's going to talk like I talk. It's going to have the rhythm I have. And in your case, it's going to be whatever you want it to be. Um, Francis created a 24-point sales document, a sales letter. And he pretty much gave us the script to that, and one could duplicate it and have their own. So he said, here's the prompt. Create an outline in a sales letter like Dan Kennedy would do. That's just somebody that's well respected how they do it. You might see certain ads on Facebook or Instagram in a certain kind of way. Yeah, chances are Dan Kennedy or somebody put there. So the best formula that can sell awesome intelligence. And I'm doing this at Opus 4.5. That's keywords. Create an outline. Okay. Then go on to say in the next prompt in AI, again, training AI, build out the sales letter section by section. And let's skip to the offer, including the bonus for someone to invest. Just that. And then Then another prompt. I'm going to train my AI, put this in there too. Have it start writing emails, let's say 14 of them, for a launch that I'm doing with 4 emails per week, let's just say. And then he said you can use his whisper flow and tell them in whisper flow when you want the emails to go out. That was phenomenal. When you want the emails to go out. And I took a screenshot of that. I got that saved up where, hey, I want the first one to go out, maybe like 5 in the next, I don't think he said like 5 of them in the next day or something. And he just set the time, 5 o'clock, and um, have it go out at 5 in the morning. And the next one go out at like 8 o'clock in the morning. The next one go out at like 2 in the afternoon. Next one go out at 5 p.m. Maybe the next one at 8 o'clock at night. All right. And there's a way that I'm going to study and look into and dig into on how to actually, he can have that actually. He said he was getting on a flight. He did all this before he got on the flight. Just told her he wanted 14 emails um, of this go out. And then by the time he landed, I guess it was already done, whatever, whatever. And he wanted to send 4 of those out every week. So this is the idea of the consistency. And so this is where he's creating it to where it's 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 on autopilot. It's already created and it's going out at these times. Um, oh, and then inside, there's a knowledge base that Francis has, as I'm sharing with you. But his whole knowledge base about all of this is in the AI for business. So I could go in there and say, I want you to use, I could go in there and talk to it, create my whole world with awesome intelligence or whatever. I want to create it for another business or whatever. And I could say, because I'm a member with Revin, I'm a member with AI for business, but Revin's a part of it. I can go into Revin and I can say, give me Francis's knowledge base when it comes to writing emails. I want to use that as my base for awesome intelligence. That's like an API, huge blessing. Trust me when I tell you. The fact that you can just utilize that thing that already exists. And it's getting a knowledge base about me as it continues to move forward. But I can lean on the knowledge base that already exists that Francis and so many others are creating in there and can just use that. I don't have to reinvent that. If you caught what I just said, it's phenomenal. So Francis was talking about he just took action with the right steps. All of this AI game is taking action with the right steps. And the right steps are so phenomenal today when you take them. Unlike a year ago, 2 years ago, 6 months ago, 3 months ago, every single day. AI will never be this bad again. It will never be this on this level. Every single day, it's getting sharper and better. The knowledge base is growing, so you can just make stuff happen for your business and be current. So you can tell it to write me a sales letter, and have it understand the fine nuance of how it is going to be effective. Um, so yeah. So they went into some of what Pro offers. You got roundtables in AI for Business, I should say, AI for Business Pro. You get the roundtables, you get the online support community, you get AI for Business training modules, you get Revin. Um, and Revin is not going to stop growing. It's its own thing. My man Brian, other people are just adding to it all the time. That comes with the AI for Business. It manages the business, the uh, economics, and all kind of stuff. He was talking about how he created 2 7-figure-a-year businesses, um, basically just using what AI for Business does. Phenomenal. And managing it is important. Keeping that thing managed. And that's what's so beautiful about AI. Also, with AI for Business, you get the AI sales chatbot. If you ever tried doing anything alone, you're gonna really appreciate that. Um, the let's see here. Oh, another thing you get is it's a free trial. AI for Business is a 30-day test drive. If you don't like it, no questions asked. Hey, if it's not the community for you, then believe me, they don't want you around it. They don't want you. Okay, here you go. No problem. It's not trying to get some people to do something they don't want to do at all. So there's a it's a risk-free trial. There's no risk when it's a 30-day test drive, and you can even keep all the information that you get and just go on, but you don't have to pay if you don't want to be a part of the community anymore. That's phenomenal. So the idea is motion. Doing something beats meditation. Motion beats meditation. I like that phrase. People be studying and studying and meditating and meditating and praying. But there's no motion. There's not doing anything. Nothing's done. So the question comes up, will this work for my business? Absolutely. Do I need experience? No. Do I need to be experienced? No. What about if I got too much experience? I got a lot of experience about this. There's still value in there for you as well. What about how do I know if it's right for me? Well, again, that 30-day trial, you're gonna find out. You'll know if it is or if it isn't. And what if I don't have a business? Not a problem. This thing will walk you through whatever idea you want to create and just walk it into existence. You get to arm yourself with this. And you get to get plugged in immediately. Once you go ahead and sign up, you have access to everything immediately. So that was that. My man Richard Dunn spoke. He really got into some good stuff about um, how does AI fit into the sales role in life? Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or whether you're actually a business owner. Finding the AI tool that was needed for your business. There's an AI tool, maybe several of them, that will benefit your business. Finding the ones that'll benefit your particular business. Um, and it really he addressed this idea, which I address all the time with awesome intelligence, this idea of, oh no, AI is here to replace us. And he said what he learned was that AI is here to enhance and refine our jobs and our skill sets. The biggest thing people have is they have fear of change. They have a lack of understanding, and it stops them from doing any motion. And motion beats meditation. Just thinking, 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 not doing anything. Sales processes, workflows, implementation, dialing strategies at a business, automated training, scripting, text message follow-ups, um, yeah, just customized GPTs for third-party clients, um, measuring the key performance indicators, the metrics of any business, the time management that it allows, and the effectiveness of this brand new salesperson versus this seasoned salesperson. What are they doing? The AI can analyze all of that and say, okay, this is what the brand new person is not doing, that these proven individuals that are doing all this, having good success, what they're doing, pointing out and recognizing by listening and having the phone calls from at a business, let's just say, where they can improve now. The AI can analyze. There's a sales percentage closing prompt, for example. So when salespeople do these things and get this information, it could be maybe they checked their credit score first, or maybe they did these different things, and their success rate goes up tremendously. Versus they can actually hear and see that these other sales folks who aren't having as much success, they're doing some things different. That can be honed in on in a very, very quick, succinct, amazing way, so that helps the training up of sales staff or different people across the country in that company or whatever it may be. We talked about that. And see, a lot of times in business, people are chasing mistakes. They couldn't get money that was left on the table. They're spending time on the wrong things, and it's hurting their bottom line. He said he used to spend hundreds of hours to try to, just waste it or correct it, this or that, but it's not generating more income. Any business person understands that. So he said, stop being busy and start being productive. Many people are busy, but how productive are they? That's the question. So AI allows someone to not be as busy, but be more productive. Find interest and ability that the client, that the customer has. What is the customer's interest and ability to buy? That needs to be found out by the business owner. So I intend to help the business owner with that problem. That's what AI can do. He said he stopped talking. I'm sorry, he stopped taking time away from real leadership stuff. He stopped being highly ineffective as a result of the AI. And he stopped skipping key points, key parts of the framework. Every organization has things that they know work. Maybe even in a certain training at a school or to learn certain things. And if people skip this or that, then they're not as effective. So this really allows the ability to hone in on maybe some skip steps, skipping key parts of the framework that produces success. People wanted to just close the deal, so maybe they didn't go through everything they need to go through in building this relationship, building rapport with the customer, and maybe they just wanted to hurry and try to close the deal so they're not being as effective because they didn't understand there's some real steps there. So that's a very big thing. Time spent qualifying people, making sure it is the right fit for people. A lot of time can get wasted on that. And a lot of time by not knowing and not having the systems in place to streamline that. So make sure that the product solves their need. It's the idea that you don't want people buying something and that's not really getting what they really needed. So really being able to slow down long enough to find out what do they really need. What so that your product, your service can really address the real need and then they'll be happy. And then they're satisfied and they of course spread the word, they'll come back. They just won't be a disgruntled customer. So the first part of sales process, stop taking all your power away. So there's a process that produces power, and many people will mess up. They'll handle the person wrong. They'll do this not right, and they give their power away. Their power to really find out and really get a duplication of understanding of where that particular person is. And a lot of the times it's the ability to slow down and really get that so you can really have the power. It's a very important piece. Um, okay, he went on to talk about how proper prompting. I just came up with that little phrase. Proper prompting propels light bulbs to go off. I've seen it. I can tell you it's a real thing. When you ask and know how to ask the questions a certain way. I talked a little bit about this earlier. Sales percentage, closing prompt from 0 to 100, like a grade. Prospects are talking 60% of the time, and the salesperson talking only 40% of the time. That can be monitored. So it's more about listening. That's easily monitored, easily implemented into a business to where you actually spending more time listening to what the customer wants and having the questions to ask that let them provide the information that's needed. So the skill of finding how to get you to move toward what will help you, and you don't know it will help you. That's a skill. That's big. 80% or more. This idea he was talking about, people that ask these certain questions and get the right understanding about these certain things ahead of time before they even make the sale, that can be graded, that can be understood, that doing these best practices, doing these commonly accepted protocols that work. There are things that work all the time, you see, and things that if implemented all the time increase the odds of it producing the results you want. But if you don't put these things in, then now the business, it doesn't have certain predictability to it. It doesn't have a certain, it's not going to have the result that's wanted because certain things that have been proven to work are left out. That can be that can be graded on a call, on listening in and understanding what's going actually happening. Um, how many different salespeople are doing more than 80% of the right stuff, and then learning, well, what made that call not ideal? Where did it go off the rails? And that can be trained upon. The closing probability when it's under 60% due to a lack of understanding of where the customer is at. For example, they can't afford it. He brought up an example of one lady had like, I think 16 children or something. And she had a husband, was describing different things. And so as much as they were so quick to want to hurry up and sell this lady, but it was a matter of understanding the situation and circumstances that that person's dealing with to recognize if they're actually going to be able to be a real customer or not. Very, very important to know for everybody's sake, customer included. So it really was, I took a note on the side. I realized the ethics, the rules, the best practices are important. And so frustration and burnout keep your people you can alleviate frustration and burnout amongst your own staff and working as a company. It keeps your people focused and motivated because they're having success and they're following what works. And really, that's an important thing to really put that culture in a certain way. And so then with just little pep talks and understanding, then, the ownership, the leadership team, whoever can now can identify different mistakes because AI allows that to really happen. With the AI, you can just be super, super effective. Yeah. So we're on to talk about more about that. Told you the lady was married. Uh, she had major family responsibilities, and it delayed the start. Uh, so anyway, that was just some examples in that particular scenario, just to drive home some points of how uh, Richard was talking about how the AI really comes in handy, and it really has helped things tremendously in the productivity and effectiveness. Monitoring the listening versus engaging. See, listening versus engaging is very, very big. You know, being able to listen on the sales side is very important. Yeah, the mind is engaged, but letting them engage and share the information is very big. He talked about that. Um, yeah. So sometimes, for example, you found out that some people that were only getting like 24% chance of being able to close after monitoring certain people, new people or whatever. They weren't having the same success. They were highly talkative, um, and the people were trusting with the rep, but it wasn't leading to the close. See, so it goes back to what are they talking about? Where is the rep guiding or steering the conversation? Because they only reason that particular potential customer was engaging is because they wanted a service or something like that. So being able to get them to have the result is what it's all about. And so what actually ends up being effective is what it's all about. The talk time ratio from the prospects, how much time they're talking, and the salesperson. Very important to monitor that. Very important to monitor that. Um, So there's a comparison prompt where one rep, again in the company versus another rep, identify, let's say Jerry, who is in his first 90 days versus let's say Victoria, who is a seasoned rep, and being able to monitor and see and have the script and analyze it and see what they're saying and having that ability to compare that AI is phenomenal at that. It shortens the learning curve for a brand new person so they can get right to what works. And they like that because they probably get some commission too. So that's a great thing. Um, um, yeah, it just makes it all simpler to duplicate what actually works or identify what works is at the core of that whole training there. And I thought about, and it's in the Clubhouse, and which is an app, talking app. And as it came to this AI, there's one in particular individual who just really was, you might almost say the hall monitor or like the main person that was like she wanted to just focus in on the cons of AI, the cons, the cons, the cons. You guys are just talking about the pros, and all that can happen good of it. And and that person, I'm well aware of it. They're not aware that by focusing in on the cons, there's no way their brain could even possibly get into the learning curve of all the stuff we're talking about. And there's no way, therefore, to benefit. So there's never any motion. So then it's just some meditation, if you will, just talking about things, but not actually doing anything because it's just trying to talk about, again, the negative stuff and just, AI is going to replace us and all this kind of energy. So the idea of how to use AI, what tools to use to get done what my use case or my client needs to get to XYZ, whatever they're trying to get to. That's the key here. So there are human best practices and in getting along with people, very important. You see, all of us are trying to survive, but the people have the fear, and then they have a scarcity mentality, and the cons. It creates a certain hysteria and duplication of the wrong energy. Um, yeah, so it's really something to take a look at of why those people don't have any success. And it has a lot to do with their fear and the scarcity mentality and not being able to conquer it, get over it, not have some actual knowledge, some actual facts, some real information, some mass on what is this thing called AI becomes a barrier to them even benefiting from it because they have misunderstood words. They have the absence of what is this thing called AI? What is it? How do you put your fingers on it? It's digital. And then there's an idea of too steep of a gradient. It's like people up here talking about all kind of words and stuff. Back to the misunderstood word. It's if they just had a foundation laid solid, they could just walk on it. They can get to the top of the highest mountain on the earth because the gradient is not too steep. If it's too steep, you got to be almost like Superman to climb that mountain. And if you make one false step, it's all bad. You crash it down and game over. You're falling down thousands of feet or whatever. But if it's the proper gradient, if it's not too steep of a gradient for the individual, slow and steady wins the race. They look up 30 days later, 60 days later, a year from now, and they've taken these little steps. And now they have a grasp and it's solid. And now they're at the top of that mountain. And so, yeah, that's a big piece. Um, so smart sourcing was another topic. Somebody can call me. Smart sourcing, let me put this back on. This idea of smart sourcing, we're about to wrap up here. Yeah, just about done. Last page here. Um, Somebody to look at your social media, having in essence, well, I'll get to that. I don't want to get in front of it. Let me try to present it the way they did. It rounds up. It gets real nice when it all comes together. What I'm about to say here, but having a social media manager, so to speak. So let's talk about this. Have help outside the U.S. grow your employment inside the U.S. Your company. Okay, where are we going with this? Onlinejobs.ph. Worth looking into. Upwork, another company. And then Fiverr, but he was saying he doesn't use Fiverr that much anymore. People aren't really using Fiverr too much anymore. At least he's not, but it's there too. It's kind of like he said, he uses fiber. If you just want to get something done one time, that's it. You could go into fiber, get some stuff done, have somebody pay somebody. That's it. But he's more like long term, maybe if some having somebody on his team part time or even really full time. He doesn't really like to do the part time. He's very committed to having people on his team that's on his team now. Talking about scaling your business faster, focusing on high level growth, making your business work for you, not vice versa, not you working for the business, and then leveraging global talent at affordable rates. Spend some time on that. That was very valuable. How to structure your business. If you don't know how to structure it, you can go from like, I just want to start my own business, and now you're working 18 hours a day. He said he does that too, work 18 hours a day, but he does it with joy because he loves what he's doing. But he says even that's not sustainable, so it's a matter of putting the systems in place that are sustainable. So he says start with what do you want in life? Um, yeah, you don't want to get to a point where now you're just stuck doing stuff and you really like, man, I didn't even really want it like this. So starting with how you want it. Is it more time or this or that? What you want in your life. So smart source everything that sucks. There's a little phrase he threw out there. If you don't like doing it, smart source that thing out. Have somebody do that. Somebody loves to do the stuff that you don't love to do. Just know that. Somebody out there loves to do cutting the grass or whatever it is that you may not like to do. Somebody loves doing that. They're willing to do that. So you can smart source that out. And he says you don't want to buy another job. You don't want to go into a job and now you got another job. I mean, you don't want to go in and create a business and now it's just another job for you. So we talked about that. So you can have these individuals that work for you create a standard operating procedure. This is where scribe how talked about that earlier comes in. Very phenomenal. You can train your help so they know exactly what to do, and then they can train the help that maybe you'll have them get, or the help that they, or whatever. You can have layers of it so that you can have standard operating procedures for your business. That's phenomenal. And don't hire people looking for work. Find them. He talked very much about it's not the matter of them looking for you. You invite them to the job. He talked about having a Zoom. Get into that a little bit more in just a second, but having a Zoom to invite them. But this is what you're looking for. You're hiring them, and then reverse engineering your competition. It's going to get into that. It talks a lot about that. I'm not sure if I'll get into it. I take all the notes, but I remember that's a big piece. Understanding who's paying. For example, I will say this, in Upwork, I believe it was, he showed how you can go in there as a freelancer, you can enter as a freelancer in Upwork, and it allows you to look around. You can change it to a client spend. There's a little button you can click, freelancer account in Upwork. It allows you to be in there looking around. And when you're in there looking around, he found one person, a person that in Upwork has paid $1 million already, has paid $800,000 hiring people to work for them. And it's a record of that. You can see it if you go in as a freelancer. And so you can see different jobs that are in progress. And you can see if somebody's paid $800,000 for workers in Upwork already, because it keeps track of that, or 1 million. Okay. They're not paying somebody to do something that's not working. So that's a good thought. What are they willing to pay for? This kind of work, that kind of work, that kind of. This is back to the reverse engineering. So okay, so those kinds of things are very valuable to this person. So if they're paying that money they're not going to keep paying them if it's not working. If it's not producing more than $1 million or more than $800,000, they're not going to just keep paying that money out. So whatever that person is doing is valuable to know for this other person. So in there, you can see the jobs that are in progress, and you can see who's doing the jobs that are in progress. And then you can see, okay, this person's willing to do it for $20 an hour. Maybe they're in the Philippines or wherever they are. But they've taken work for $8 an hour. And they're willing to do this, and they've already made $100,000, whatever it is, doing this in Upwork. It's all in there. You can see it. So now you can say, okay, they're good at that. You can come to that conclusion and understand. So you can contact them and see if they or find other people to provide that same thing and do that interview and have a Zoom. You can find the individuals that do that, and then you can hire them to do that for you in whatever field it might be in that you're looking for. So we talked about outsourcing. Well, he talked about never pay up front for work, pay after they've done the work. Um, he talked also about, let's see, smart source virtual assistant manager to manage your virtual assistants. So you can have a virtual assistant that manages the other virtual assistants. That's what I was earlier when I had mentioned a social media manager. So you have one VA that manages the other ones and making sure that they're keeping everybody on a certain page of standard operating procedures that you want to have in place. Outsource personal stuff, make it so that you don't have to think. Okay. Outsource the personal stuff and make it so that you don't have to think. Virtual Zoom office during work hours. So having a virtual, they have to go into a Zoom or they're working. So that way you know they're actually there working. So because they're on the Zoom and you set that up. And then yeah. And then also on the hiring, there's a whole Zoom you put together where you have a certain date. Hey, put it out there. We're going to be interviewing. So everybody can come in and you get to see 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people, 100 people. And you get to ask them questions live about what skills they bring, how they do this. You get to ask these questions and then you get to see how they handle it. And then you get to decide that's the ones I want to hire. Okay. Um, and then you can ask them, of course, are you looking for more work? Once you find those ones that are really good at what they're doing, they're already making money. You can ask them, are they looking for more work? Chances are they probably are. And then you want to start getting into finding out. Ideally, they will stop. They won't have any other work but just working for you. Uh, and you looking for those types of individuals to be dedicated to work for you is one thing you want to try to find for sure. Put that intention in to make that happen. Um, so that is pretty much the end of the notes. Uh, yeah, and then we got into Patrick Precourt. He's talking about evidence-based uh, mindset. Just really get a mindset that it takes to go out here and find out from people. Because all at the end of the day, you're trying to get your sales right, get the services out there, and putting systems in place. Sales, service, and systems. And finding out from the client, where are you going and why? What are you trying to do? Very important. And most people don't readily know that off the top of their head. Some people do, but you got to help them find where are you going? Why are you going? What are you trying to do? How can I help you? What's the goal here? What are we trying to get done? And asking them what do they want? And when do they want it? And what are they willing to sacrifice to get it? Very important questions. Um, Commitment to discipline will expedite the outcome. Commitment to the discipline will expedite the outcome. And the question becomes then, who do I need to become? It's a very personal point at that point. Who do I need to become? What do I need to be a year from now? What do I have to become so that life will be totally different? I'll have a certain level of understanding and knowledge and wisdom under my belt when it comes to this AI, how to handle business for self and how to handle business in general with anybody when it comes to AI. So that is a brief little recap of the last 3 days, 12 hours of training. And I would tell everybody out there, if you have not signed up yet get with me. Get me in my DM. Not hard to find. Facebook, uh, Instagram. Facebook, me, Mr. Muhammad. Instagram, you can find me at Excellence Management. And hit me in the DM and let's get you plugged in so you can get your learning curve in so that a year from now, 6 months from now, you'll be current, find that proper gradient, and you'll be exactly where you need to be. So you will not get left behind and you'll understand what's going on and you'll get to create in a way where people are glad to engage with you for a variety of reasons. Uh, you're effective, you know, whatever it is, you're nice sense of humor they like, personality, but most importantly, you're good and you know how to get things done. All right. So this is AI for business, what we're talking about for your personal life, for your business life. Um, and so that's what this is all about. So if you want to get with it, get with me, and we can definitely make sure to get you plugged in and get you on your way. In the meanwhile, y'all take care, stay strong, nothing but love. I'll see you at the top. Peace and blessings.